Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And this is the last entry of the year.
Oh.
2020. A year that will be remembered fondly. JK. Yes, we're all in it, so we all know. I don't need to go on. But today's episode, let's forget about that for a moment and talk about Sheep in the Big City. So Sheep in the Big City. It's an American animated television series created by Mo Willems for Cartoon Network and the 9th of Cartoon Network's Cartoon Cartoons. The series pilot first premiered as part of Cartoon Network's Cartoon Summer on August 18th, 2000. So a later entry in the Cartoons. Williams previously created the offbeats for Nickelodeon's Kablam before working on this animated show. The series follows a runaway sheep named Sheep in his new life in the big city, where he tries to avoid a secret military organization. It also features several unrelated sketches and shorts similar to those from The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, with an emphasis on sophisticated, in particular literal humor, using different forms of rhetoric from characters to plots. It included comic references to filmmaking and television broadcasting. I'm just going to quickly interject there and by saying I wouldn't necessarily call it sophisticated myself.
Yeah, that was a weird word.
Yeah, that's I'm reading off Wikipedia here, guys. There's nothing of my opinion there. At the time, the premiere of Sheep in the Big City was the highest rated premiere for a Cartoon Network original series. The animated series, the animation services for the series were handled by the Korean animation studio Rough Draft Korea. This was Cartoon Network's first original series produced by the animation studio Curious Pictures, who would later go on to produce codename Kids Next Door in 2002. Another much forgot about series. That was my addition. Fun fact, Sheep has a cameo role in the OKKO Let's Be Heroes crossover special titled Crossover Nexus as one of the many Cartoon Network heroes that was summoned and defeated by Strike. So if you know what any of that means, that's a fun fact. Okay, so Sheep in the Big City. Do you remember it?
I think I've maybe seen bits and pieces of it before, but I don't think I'd ever watched a full episode. I remember what it looks like. It's quite got quite a unique look to it. What about you?
I watched it on Cartoon Network. It's like it was one of those things where I didn't remember it, and then I saw the imagery for it. And you know when it just comes flooding back and you're like, I completely blanked that from my life.
Yeah.
But I remember enjoying it. So it seems weird, but then so it was cool to go back and visit it and see if it cut the mustard still. It definitely feels. It's a weird one because you can kind of see the cartoon side of it, but it doesn't feel like the rest of them.
No, it doesn't.
And I know it's kind of in that time where they were mixing it up a little bit. So it's kind of the same time as Courage, the Cowardly Dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is obviously very different from your Dexter's Lab and your Cow and Chicken and whatnot. But this has a sort of... It has a feel of Two Stupid Dogs about it.
Yeah.
However, to me, the thing I noticed most was it almost doesn't know where to aim audience wise, because it feels like it's not as funny as an adult, and it has the humor is almost, it's like the jokes aren't great, but you can see that kids would laugh at them, but then it's trying almost to be more adult in its humor and the words it uses. So there's like one where it's talking about a thief called the Inaudible Man.
Yeah.
And it's like a kid's not going to know what the word inaudible means.
Mm.
It depends how old they are, and obviously, and everything. But you know, when you just start thinking, I don't know who this is aimed at.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got these. It's like I said, it does what we do and chucks in a load of fake adverts.
Mm.
And some are funny, some don't land. That's how I felt about it, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's got the overarching story of sheep, which is bonkers, really, isn't it?
Mm.
It doesn't. I don't know what the episode was about. We watched the pilot, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how much it changes from the pilot. But
yeah,
there's definitely things I'd do away with. I don't like the narration, which is a big part of it, but it seems so unnecessary. You're just like, what is this? This is not adding. This is actually making it less funny.
I think some of that's probably because sheep doesn't actually talk, does it?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you kind of like you need something to kind of budge it along and be like, this is what's happened, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Because it hasn't explicitly been said. But I mean, like the other characters talk, so you can kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, like, look, we watched Pink Panther the other day,
Yeah.
and he doesn't talk, does he?
No.
So you can still have him going about. You get that, like if you didn't have the narrator in it, you would still get that he fancies the poodle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he fancies a poodle and he's trying to win it over. But the owner hates him and is mates with the army. Who also catch him for some other reason.
Weird sheep ray or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like it's got that nonsense that Two Stupid Dogs has, but you don't. I just didn't buy into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's probably just because it kept not being funny.
I think it was like it felt like it was too self-aware sometimes as well.
Yes,
I think
yeah.
And that always kind of takes you out of it, doesn't it? Like when it's like, oh yes, by the way, this is a script that someone wrote, because like they have like a character forget their lines or whatever, or like forget their motives and stuff, and then they have to like reread the pilot script and stuff.
Yeah,
So
and then it's like how did you get here so fast? And he's like, I used the plot device.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like, what kids understand that?
Yeah. And then like once you're old enough to understand that, it's not really that good anyway.
Funny, yeah. So that's it's like I can't tell if it's not funny or if it's just aimed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a lot of that, and I think it does get annoying fast. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that in cartoons anyway.
No.
When they keep doing it, I mean, Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yeah, we all know how that went.
But yeah, Sheep in the Big City was doing that quite a bit, and it's a shame because as well, Sheep, I actually like him.
Yeah.
So the bits where it's just sheep being sheep, there's a few bits that will make you laugh, and there are a few of the fake adverts that are pretty funny.
Yeah.
So it starts off with like a fake soap opera, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where a guy keeps saying like, I only have one life.
One life to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the woman's like, well, how many lives do you think I have? And he's like, one.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, it's my only life to live too. That was pretty amusing.
Yeah, that was pretty like as it kept like the longer they kept saying one life to live, the funnier it got. Like.
Yeah, because you just kind of like, what a stupid thing, like that's
Yeah.
You know, people do say that. And then it was like a QVC shopping channel thing with an angry scientist.
An angry scientist. Yeah.
He's very angry about being called a mad scientist. That one
not as a big hit. I don't think.
No, that was a bit poor. And then you have the one there where they're looking for the silent killer, the silent thief guy.
Yeah, the inaudible man. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There was bits that made me laugh, but then bits that weren't funny at all. And
we had the oxymoron washing powder.
That was all right.
Yeah.
And it was like, instead of just using 2 scoops in your washing, you can use the whole thing.
Yeah. It was really confused as to like what the because it was like oxymoron, but then it was like with the power of an ox.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess like again, like why, like it was almost like why are you using that word?
Yeah. There was loads of like weird little word gags all the way through it though, because there was like, because the general was called like what was
it was general specific.
Yeah, general specific, and then there was private public, so they're just like oxymorons themselves.
Yeah. like Mo Willems is just obsessed with contradictions.
It's my favorite thing in the world. Everything has to be oxymorons.
I suppose the whole thing is like the show is the sheep in the big city.
Yeah.
So like a farm animal in a city, but it kind of doesn't really land.
No.
Especially as cartoon, because it's not like how many like when Cow and Chicken came before it. We've accepted at this point nonsense completely in cartoons. No one's fussed about. No one's like, why is a sheep in the city?
Yeah, that's it doesn't even hit on the radar, does it? Of like some of the weirdness that's come before.
Sheep in the big city. It just sounds like it doesn't sound weirder than Cow and Chicken.
No.
Or Ren and Stimpy or anything like that. Like you're just like, okay, it's about a sheep in the city. I accept.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Very straightforward.
Yeah. No worries. It's only you that's questioning it. That I think that's the big. There's loads of like, it's like someone thinks they're hilarious and is really trying to let you know how funny they are.
Yeah, so they're just like cramming in as much as they can, but then most of it isn't that great.
Yeah, it's like we all know someone like that thinks they're really funny.
Yeah.
And at first you're just trying to be polite, so you laugh at a few of the things that aren't funny. But eventually you really, really, really want to tell them, shut up, you're not funny. But you never can, because you know that would be mean. That's what this show is. It's just got that vibe about it, and I think that's the big problem is the sheep seems to be the only, because he doesn't talk. He's the only one that isn't aware he's in a show. Yeah. Which is the reason why you like him, I think.
Yeah. He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, and it's just almost like everyone else is ruining his show. Because it's one of those things, if you keep pointing it out, you are almost patting yourself on the back. Yeah. In the audience's eyes. And if it's not funny, then it really isn't funny. Like, you have to be super careful with that stuff, don't you?
Yeah, it does get old quick, like, because like you see the narrator in the booth and everything, and like there's just so many hints at like, oh yeah, this is a show, by the way. It's just like, yeah, well, we all knew that going in.
Yeah, no one's surprised.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I think like, you look at like they do it sometimes in like Looney Tunes. They'll reference something that they've done, they'll talk to you, but because it's like Looney Tunes, you accept like you're that's funny. Because it's funny. Yeah, and it sounds like the lamest criticism almost, but you've got that clout, and they've done it in the right way, and it's so easy to do in the wrong way, which we've seen numerous times. And it doesn't surprise me really that it's not. I mean, they did 2 seasons. Yeah. With 27 episodes, including the pilot.
Oh yeah, so like 50 plus episodes, easy. It's not too shabby at all.
Yeah. So they did all right for Satan. So maybe
it
they
continues.
fixed problems.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if they sort of hit it as hard all the way through, or whether it sort of eases off a bit, like, and Sheep gets to kind of do his thing a bit more.
Yeah. I mean, that might be the case. I remember enjoying it, and I mean, I feel like I've ripped into it too much, really, because there are things there. Like visually, it's pretty funny. The art style
Yeah,
is all funny. Like the people, like the general never really fully opens his mouth.
yeah,
So his teeth are always gritted together, which for some reason is funny.
yeah.
Some of the designs on the people in the adverts.
Mm.
There's that guy that's like got the weird shop where he sells things at crazy prices,
Yeah,
and they're literally crazy prices. So he
yeah,
sells a battery for like $700 or something.
yeah. It's just stupid. They put like an elephant 16 cents or something.
Yeah, but his chin is hilarious.
Yeah,
Like just pokes out way beyond, a plank of wood.
yeah. Beyond Beavis levels.
Yeah. So there are things that are like, there, and I think.
Yeah.
I wonder really, did they change them beyond the pilot?
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
Because the general as well, like he's got like when you look at his medals, like because they're all just like essentially like a straight line with the circular medal on the bottom. The last one is like a question mark, as they all look like exclamation marks, like, which is just like a really weird design. But it's just like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, why not?
So I mean, there's cool things about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell someone's taken like a lot of time to put like little details in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like some of them are just like, oh yeah, I guess that's pretty funny. But yeah, not all of them are gonna like crack you up. That's the thing. Like, but yeah, it's a very sort of simplistic kind of art style, isn't it? Like they all look very cartoony, which works.
And it doesn't look like your standard, like, and I know we've talked about this a lot, but Cartoon Network, there was a phase sort of where you can tell, even though they look different, you can tell it's a Cartoon Network sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this looks quite original.
Yeah, it looks.
So
it's very
you
different.
might not necessarily know it's a Cartoon Network cartoon just by looking at a picture of it. So that's quite cool. It does feel like visually different, but then, and I think there's definitely things that seem to look like this that after it.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a Fairly Odd Parents about it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Which is, I suppose it could be sort of, those noughties, that noughties period where computers were being used a lot more for animating and stuff like that. So everything looks clean, doesn't it? And
yeah, it looks a bit cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
more rounded. And then we get to where we are now, where everything's super round.
Yeah. Yeah. The 2D animation is slowly fading away.
But it's just changing. It's just changing, guys. It will still be changing. It's just changing.
It might be fading away, but the old stuff still exists.
It's still around. Yeah. It's just, on YouTube or something. You just have to go down the YouTube hole.
Have to go down the hole.
That's it.
The 2D hole. Okay, well, on that note, shall we jump to our ratings?
Yes. This summer, one man is returning with his signature sound.
It's time to cut through the noise and join in on the adventures
of the inaudible man. This time he returns to more action.
Tales of love.
Creepy mysteries.
And of course, his signature laughs.
The Inaudible Man, coming this summer. And don't forget.
Here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. So, thumbs up, a sheep in the big city.
Oh.
Oh, crazy. Thumbs down. It's not that weird. And shaky middle, referencing yourself continuously throughout a script. Mm-hmm. So, good, bad. I'm not really sure how I feel about that one. Sheep in the Big City pilot. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it did feel like a very a mixed bag overall. Really, like it was, like it started strong with that that trailer of the One Life to Live, and I was like, oh, this is some good stuff. But then kind of degrades over time, like someone pulling a thread from a woolly jumper. The jumper eventually erodes into nothing. Yeah, there were some good bits. There were a few laughs, some visual stuff in there, which is quite cool. The main character seemed pretty fun for saying he doesn't speak. It's not something you always see in like modern cartoons, so it's quite nice to have like a silent character just doing their antics and getting into trouble and stuff. And then like I did enjoy the the fake ads, because obviously we're a fan of those. So they were fun, even though some of them were like not fantastic either. But I think overall I kind of enjoyed it. Like I wonder if it's sort of intriguing to see how the next episode kind of played out, if there was more of the good stuff or more of the bad stuff, really. I feel like even in this one they kind of set themselves up for stuff that never really paid off. Like there's that scene where they go into like the warehouse of like, what is it, like dry ice, smoke, and like ominous music and stuff. And then I was expecting to just there be that whole scene where there's just like some weird music going on and it gets real spooky for no reason. But then that didn't really happen. So
no, it was again, they were like playing, the joke was about the trope. But as a kid, who's getting that?
It just doesn't really.
And if you're not going to pay it off anyway,
then it's like so not always hitting the winners on this one. So I think for me I think it is like a pretty hard shaky middle, because there were some gags that I did laugh at, but I wouldn't be like recommending it to folk, because then there's the ones that are bad are pretty bad. So
I know what you mean. I mean, and it's certainly, you could probably guess I'm not going to give it a thumbs up. But like I say, I used to like this when I was younger, which I'm surprised at, because rewatching it really didn't do it for me. So I kind of feel like it must get better, because I watched it. But then I just wonder if I would have watched anything, and it's further proof that kids, put a cartoon on in front of them and they're not bothered, or at least for me. But I found the humour to be not just off, but like at times aggravating. I don't like self-referential stuff at the best of times, so that didn't help. Other than Sheep, I didn't like any of the characters in it. Which didn't help. I did like some of the adverts, but it was such a mixed bag, which I know is probably rich coming from us, but at the same time, I can't help but say no. I just didn't enjoy it, so I'm a thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
So down in the middle for Sheep in the Big City.
That's the final nail in the coffin of 2020.
There you go. Game over. Well, hey ho. Such is the way of 2020. It's been another year of tuning around. But we'll be back again next week, as always. I hope that you have the best New Year that you can under the circumstances.
Yeah.
And a good 2021, or at least a better 2021 to everyone. Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to rate and review us. It really helps us out. And you can also get some bonus episodes over on our Patreon. At the moment, we're doing sports episode, and we do different themes and stuff. So that's always pretty fun. You can also access all the old episodes as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so on the 3 oxymorons of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ToonJamPod. So you can send us any recommendations or just get in touch with us on there. Otherwise, thanks again for joining us, and until next time, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.